Now call me crazy, but aren't horses beautiful? I know I'm weird, but seriously, they are stunning and majestic creatures, and it's no wonder they are so loved. And if you're not convinced, I promise I can change your mind, because these equine beauties could be models. These are the 20 most beautiful horses on planet Earth, but before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 20. Frisian horse. Do you want a horse that you can look at and say, yes, this is a good horse? If so, then the Frisian horse might be one you'd want to get to know. Frisian horses are majestic animals with great stature and color, and they have the desired temperament and athletic abilities to excel in dressage, which many people take advantage of in competitions. But, even more importantly, it's simply a horse with an incredible appearance. This wonderful horse looks like a typical horse until it turns its head. Many people love watching this horse trot across fields and other areas because it looks truly beautiful while doing so. They love the flowing mane and tail, and some even think it's a fairy tale horse. Oh, and that black coat? Well, that's intentional. The people who breed these horses make sure that black coat is the dominant characteristic of the breed. In the past, there were other colors, but they've been eliminated over time. So much so that if you had a Frisian horse of another color, you wouldn't be able to register it for breeding. The temperament of the Frisian is usually friendly, calm, and eager to please. Its versatility is one of its main features, and as such, it can be a very useful family horse if you need one. And if you think you've seen this type of horse before, you probably have, as they are so popular and beautiful in the eyes of many that they have been used in movies for many years. If there is one downside to this horse, it is that it is a breed known to contract several diseases, mainly due to the way they have been bred and cared for, as well as some questionable methods used by owners to produce high-quality offspring. Number 19. A horse named Tiki. Now let's move from a lady who dedicates her life to making horses beautiful to a type of horse considered the most beautiful on the planet, the Akal Teke horse, a high standard to reach, but this horse is one that meets it. The reason so many people love this horse is because of its spectacular coat and its sleek morphology. It is also suitable for a wide variety of equestrian disciplines, excelling particularly in endurance racing and eventing competitions. This also means that anyone riding the horse will be showing the public just how beautiful their steed is while it moves. But wait! There's more. This spectacular horse has an incredible lineage, as it has been used in combat over the years by various nations. It's even believed that Alexander the Great had one of these horses and rode it into battle. So, if Alexander the Great thought it was something of quality, well, it certainly must be recognized. This horse is of Turkish origin, with great racing ability, impressive movement, excellent jumping, and endurance that deserves to be highlighted. Not every horse breed can survive the various endurance races that take place around the world. So if this breed is considered one of the best at what it does, that really means something. But here's the curious part. Despite knowing of many cultures that used this horse, no one really knows where it originally came from. This wasn't a horse bred to be a racer, jumper, or war horse. It simply turned out this way, naturally. And this fact has led some to believe that this is a horse of mythical quality, with some even calling it a celestial horse. So, if you manage to get one of these horses for yourself, know that you've made an excellent choice. Number 18. The Appaloosa horse. Let's change the subject for a moment and focus on a horse with a more peculiar appearance that people tend to love. When you imagine your classic horse breeds, you probably think about how strong and imposing they are, and they tend to have one or two colors. However, the Appaloosa horse has several colors and spots that make it seem almost like a mixture of things, rather than a typical horse breed. Yet, people really love them, showing once again that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. In addition to its impressive appearance, Appaloosas are well known for being gentle, friendly, and loyal companions. They tend to be very eager to please, making them an excellent horse breed for horse lovers, no matter how long you have been around horses. This means that if you are just starting out with horses, this is a good horse to have. Although the horse is very popular in North America, it didn't originate there. In fact, the Spanish brought them over, and when the Native American tribes known as the Nez Perce saw them, they were quite impressed and decided to breed them. Unfortunately, as horses were one of the greatest prides and joys of Native American culture, when the US government began invading and claiming their lands, many of these horses were killed, which nearly drove the breed to extinction. Fortunately, in the 1930s, people recognized their mistake and gathered the remaining Appaloosa horses to create a preservation and registry that still exists today. And if you were to acquire one today, you could use it for various functions, including leisurely rides and heavy work. We should all be grateful that this breed wasn't wiped out, as such a unique and dependable horse could very well have disappeared from the face of the earth. Number 17. The Arabian horse. Although it is true that every nation and culture has its specialties in which they excel compared to others, there are some that stand out above the rest, even in the best cases. For example, when it comes to horses, few can surpass the way the Arab people treat their equine friends. And to prove this, just look at the Arabian horses they value more than almost any other horse in the world. This horse is special to them because it has been with the Arab people for thousands of years. Some even believe that the first peoples of the Arab tribes discovered these horses and then worked with them to create the culture that exists today. Now, these horses have been bred over the years, and those who bred them ensured they could withstand the intense heat of the desert and travel great distances if necessary. The horses were used for transportation, cargo transport, and warfare, being ridden in battles. Surprisingly, it was these horses that some caretakers would take to their family tents at night for warmth and protection. Think about it. They knew these horses were precious, invaluable, and they didn't want anything to happen to them after living with them for so long. The Arabian horse breed eventually spread across the world, and some of the most important figures in history ended up owning one of these horses. Among them are figures such as Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte, George Washington, and Alexander the Great, all legendary leaders who won their battles mounted. If you still need more proof of how the Arabian horse is revered, just look at Islamic religion. In religious texts, the Prophet Muhammad said to treat horses with great respect. Number 16. The Barber horse. If there is one thing that can be said about humanity, it's that if people think they can make something more beautiful, shinier, or generally more pleasing to the eyes, they will definitely do it. An example of this is this incredible horse, which looks like an ordinary horse until it turns its head. Why? Because when you look at the head and then at the rest of the body, you'll realize that someone did something specific to its coat, combining two of their passions. Melody Hames produces some of the most unexpected and spectacularly designed horses in the world, earning her the nickname Barber Horse. The design graduate created her own business, making creative art on horses' coats. This is definitely a unique choice, and when you see some of the designs she puts on the horses, you realize she doesn't do anything halfway. She basically sculpts the horses to be a specific way when it comes to their coats, and she's not afraid to be extremely creative. In fact, she noted that all of her designs are unique to each horse, so you won't see two alike. Now, to make it clear, this wasn't a random idea she just had. She used to care for a pony who suffered from a condition that prevented it from shedding its coat properly, so she thought of helping the horse by doing these kinds of designs to keep part of its coat, but in a fabulous way. And so you don't think people would be discouraged by this idea, Melody was later hired not only to create custom horses for celebrities and events, but also invited abroad to teach others how to do the same. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so I'm sure some of you won't like it, but it's hard to deny that she is clearly very good at what she does and is willing to invest time and effort to make things work. Number 15. The Gypsy Vanna horse. As mentioned in the introduction, many horse breeds were created to fulfill a specific task. In the case of the Gypsy Vanna horse, that task was to create a horse that could help the gypsies of Britain move their wagons. And if you've ever seen a movie with a gypsy wagon, you know these things weren't exactly small. Additionally, since they would work with these horses practically their whole lives, they needed a horse that was easy to care for, gentle with its owners, and could be trained quickly to start working. However, this was not a case of a naturally occurring breed. Like many of the horses on the list, the Gypsy Vanna was created from different horse breeds. These gypsies carefully bred their ideal horses, relying on the Shire and Clydesdale for their size and strength, and then incorporated the Dale pony and Fell pony into the lineage. This took some time, but eventually their perfect horses emerged and have now become an icon in the world as we know it. You may notice that these horses are smaller than you'd expect, but the trade-off is that they are more robust and capable of carrying heavy loads. Therefore, in this case, they lose size in one area, but make up for it in another. Although their role with the gypsies ended long ago, they are still used for things like pulling carriages and being racehorses, showing that they are multi-talented and that the gypsies knew what they were doing when they created this horse breed. Number 14. Haflinger horse. When you imagine a horse, you probably think of a large one, capable of carrying one or two humans in long gallops across the plains. However, there are smaller horse breeds that can perform just as well as their larger counterparts. The Haflinger horse is one of those equids. These small horses are athletic and versatile. They excel in dressage, jumping, trail riding, driving, and much more. And equally important, they are gentle horses, allowing both children and adults to use them without fear of being thrown off. Furthermore, although they are small, they have plenty plenty of strength, so carrying you or someone else wouldn't be a big problem. And if you're curious about how this breed came to be, it's because the people of Italy and Austria needed a horse to help them climb the Tyrolean mountains. These mountains had very narrow passages, and yet people needed to climb with heavy loads. Therefore, a horse was needed that could navigate the terrain without getting tired while carrying a large load. With a bit of luck, they found the perfect horse, which eventually became the foundation of the Haflinger breed. It has had many uses over the years and remains popular today. So, while you may desire a large horse for you or your family, don't be afraid to try these more compact horses, as they might end up surprising you. Number 13. NAB Stropper Horse. If you like the appearance of a spotted horse, then the NAB Stropper horse is perfect for you. If you observe NAB Stropper horses long enough, you'll see that they vary in how they are marked. Some may resemble Dalmatians or even leopards with their coats, while others have longer spots, giving them a completely different look. In the West, these horses are relatively new, as they didn't cross the Atlantic until the 2000s. However, their origins, thanks to cave paintings, trace back to prehistoric spotted equids that are native to modern-day Spain. That's right, they've been around for quite some time, and people have been drawn to them for a long while. As a result, of course, they've gone through some transformations over the years, including a modern transformation that took place in 1812, leading to the form you see today. This horse was one of the most sought-after breeds in Europe for decades until the 1870s, when this rare genetic pool started facing problems related to inbreeding. To make matters worse, a fire occurred much later, nearly wiping out the species, but fortunately, people came together to bring it back to prominence. Fast forward to the present, they are used for various purposes, and ponies are especially loved by children, probably because they've never seen a spotted horse like this before. And one thing that can't be denied is that they truly are a uniquely looking horse. Number 12. Marwari Horse. Considering the popularity of horses, you might find it strange to come across one that can truly be labeled as rare, but as with everything, there is a reason for such classifications, and the Marwari horse is an example of this. This rare horse was brought from India to the world, and when you look at it, you'll notice its unusual ears, which are curved inward, something you wouldn't expect from a horse. This ear shape is unique to the Indian breed and has made them a sought-after export for horse enthusiasts around the world. The temperament of the Marwari horse is generally considered calm and easy to handle, but there are some exceptions, as Marwari horses can also be temperamental from time to time, so you'll definitely want to be cautious if you encounter one. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why are these horses so rare? Well, simply put, there was a high demand for them, but this demand decreased due to the desire for better horses, and those that remained were poorly cared for and poorly bred, which caused their numbers to decline even further. However, like others on the list, a group of people came together to figure out a way to save the population, and they succeeded. But this also shows that, like other animals, just because something is in demand at one point doesn't mean it will always be. So, if these species are not cared for, regardless of their demand, a species could end up nearing extinction, something that, as a breed, we shouldn't want for any animal. Number 11. The Norwegian Fjord Horse. The Norwegian fjord horse is considered one of the oldest and purest horse breeds. Although they bear a striking resemblance to the Asian wild horse and other similar horses, they are actually related to a European wild horse known as the tarpon. As for its age, many believe the breed dates back around 4,000 years, if not longer. It is believed that the species migrated to Norway, where it was domesticated. After that, it was bred by cultures such as the Vikings to be their war and workhorse, essential for expanding their presence across Europe. When the Viking era ended, the horse became a farm horse for people in Norway, being very useful in their work. However, at one point it was nearly considered obsolete. This happened because it was crossbred with a dull horse, and the results seemed to produce a better horse. However, over generations, the crossbreeding proved not to be as favorable as initially thought, and they eventually returned to favor the fjord, showing that the new shiny toy is not always what you want. The fjord is an impressive horse, and it should be clear why the Norwegian people like it so much. Number 10. Orloff Trotter Horse. If you traveled to Russia in the past, it would have been very easy to see the Orloff Trotter horse. It was a highly valued breed by many, with a combination of speed, strength, endurance, and a pleasant temperament. This versatile horse is a great choice for many riders, and if you're waiting for the bad news, I will happily deliver it to you. The horse is another rare breed. This time, it's due to the various wars and power changes within Russia, and the horse is no longer kept as it once was. However, some farms have managed to come together to help save this breed, and now more than a dozen of them exist to ensure the survival of the species, which is good news because these horses are not only beautiful but can also perform many tasks that would help a human owner. Number 9. Percheron Horse. Do you want a horse that is big, capable of doing many things, but also incredibly gentle and affectionate with you and your family? Then look no further than the Percheron horse, which has been called the gentle giant by many within the industry. Believe it or not, these horses were used in wars and later employed as draft horses. Eventually, they settled in more common work and competition environments where many horses are found today. Additionally, they are very popular in breeding as they can create unique equine combinations depending on who they are crossed with. Their direct origins are unknown, but eventually the French adopted them and used them in the cavalry. After arriving in the West, they became popular among farmers until modern machinery took over the role. Even so, the horse is still very much loved today. Number 8. Pinto horse. The Pinto horse is an impressive figure due to its painted design, making it a uniquely looking horse. It is believed that Pinto horses, due to their striking and spotted patterns, were selectively bred in ancient Egypt and Rome and later transported to the New World by Spanish and Portuguese explorers, which is not unlikely given the fate of many horse species. If you look at these various images of the Pinto horse, you will see that each one is painted differently, making it a truly unique horse just for you, in case you decide to have one. Number 7. The Rocky Mountain horse. I've already shown many horses from different regions of the world, but some of you are probably wondering if there's a breed that was born or developed in the United States. The answer is, of course, yes, and the Rocky Mountain horse is one of those equines. However, the name might be a bit misleading. The horse did not come from the Rocky Mountain area, but rather from the south. Eventually, it was taken north and bred to help the people of the Appalachian Mountains, and perhaps that's one of the reasons it came to be called the Rocky Mountain horse. The people of Appalachia had to work hard just to survive, so they used these horses to plow fields, tend cattle, and pull their wagons. However, their population would drop drastically with the arrival of machines. That doesn't sound so unfamiliar, does it? Fortunately, once again, people came together to help the breed, and its numbers have been growing ever since. Number 6. The Shire horse. The Shire horse originates from Britain. They are usually black, bay, or grey and can be quite tall. Over time, they have held world records as both the largest and the tallest horse. They have great working capacity and were traditionally used to pull brewers' carts for beer delivery. This may have inspired a multitude of Budweiser commercials. Today, some are still used in this way, while others are seen being used for riding, commercial promotions, and even forestry work. The breed was established and developed in the mid-18th century, and although its origins are much older, a breed society was formed in 1876. In 1878, the first stud book was published. The horse has gone through a long and remarkable history, just like many others on this list. But by the 1970s, it began to be revived due to growing public interest. Breed societies were established worldwide, and in 1996, the first Shire Horse World Congress was held. The use of artificial insemination with frozen semen in the breed began with several Australian mares in 1997. Since then, the breed has experienced a revival and is now popularly used for both forestry work and recreational riding. Number 5. Tracking your horse. To be frank, there are many horse owners who want nothing more than to see their horses athletic and capable of performing various tasks for shows and competitions. One breed they often consider for this is the Trakehner horse because it is one of the most athletic breeds out there. These horses are so good at what they do, in fact, that once their competition days are over, they are taken to riding schools where they help young riders learn the fundamentals. Today, the Trakehner horse is known as a worldwide breed and is bred for various purposes beyond competitions. However, it is worth noting that apparently, the Germans breed the best versions of this horse, so keep that in mind if you want to acquire one. Number 4. The Icelandic horse. Of course, the irony of Iceland is that it is not actually a land full of ice, just as Greenland is not a green and beautiful place in the traditional sense. The Vikings really enjoyed playing tricks on people, but when it came to their horses, they knew exactly what they were doing. The Icelandic horse is not just any horse they had. It is one they have preserved for over 1,000 years. It is so popular in the country that it is considered a national treasure, as well as a symbol of the nation, and it has even influenced Norse mythology and culture. When breeding these horses, the Vikings knew they needed the best of the best, so they carefully selected them. Believe it or not, they still maintain strict control over the horse and its breeding policies to this day, to the point that if you own an Icelandic horse, it can only leave the country once, which is quite a unique rule for a horse. Number 3. The Soraya horse. The Soraya horse is very special due to its history. Although not confirmed, many believe that this horse is the last of its kind from the land of Iberia. Similarly, many people did not search for or were unaware of this horse until the 1920s. It was then that someone discovered these equine beauties and decided to showcase them after creating their own herd and studying them. Many agree that these horses contributed to the development of other horse breeds that exist in the world today. The Soraya horse is small but resilient and well adapted to the often harsh conditions in which it evolved to survive. Unfortunately, it is another horse that has required great conservation efforts, and the species is still not completely safe. Number 2. Andalusian horse. Now, this is a breed of horse that is quite majestic, and I'm sure many of you will fall in love with the Andalusian horse after seeing these photos and videos. One of the reasons people love this horse so much is that it goes beyond just its appearance. It is a horse that almost delights in the opportunity to adapt to new things and try new tasks. This is a breed that has worked in harsh mountainous conditions and has also competed in dressage. When you have a horse that can do all these things, it becomes quite popular, and when you add the horse's natural beauty, you have an equine that many people desire, and that remains true to this day. Number 1. Lipizzaner horse. As we reach the end of our list, let's talk about a horse whose name I probably mispronounced. It's only fair to mention a horse that holds great significance for the people who bred and raised it to be magnificent. This horse is a valuable treasure for the Slovenian people, and its importance can be seen throughout their culture. For example, these horses appear on some of their coins, and owning one of them is part of the people's identity. Moreover, they are a rare breed with a lineage that cannot be overlooked. They were specifically bred to be what they are: elegant, noble, and perfect for competitions. So, when a people place such high value on horses and their breeding, it's safe to say they consider them truly beautiful. That's all about the world of horses and those that stand out for their beauty. Which of these horses do you find the most amazing? Would you buy one of them just for its looks? Do you know another horse breed that should be on this list? Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Also, check out other interesting content that is appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.